and welcome to today's video. This is going to be a fun one because I'm going to be ranking all of the palettes that launched in 2021 that I tried. So ranking all the palettes launched this year that I have my hands on. I have 67 palettes to rank. 67 palettes to rank. That is so many, but I'm so excited to rank them all. I have so many different brands, indie brands, mainstream brands, neutrals, colors, everything. I have so many palettes to rank. I cannot wait to share my reviews with y'all, tell you my thoughts. Listen, this was so hard, but it was so fun. So I'm super duper excited to be talking to y'all about these palettes today. And if you are new here, hey, my name is Heather and makeup makes me happy. Here at my channel, we don't try to be perfect. We just want to have a good time with our makeup, whatever that means. Shimmer, glitter, ranking makeup, we are here for it. So if that sounds good to you, I do hope that you will subscribe before you leave today, because right now I'm uploading every single day. For Vlogmas, I'm doing 35 days of Heather, where for 35 days I'm uploading every single day. But even outside of Vlogmas, I upload lots of videos every week, usually about 5 or more videos a week. So if you are looking for fun makeup content, this is the place to be. But I have so many palettes, so let's jump into it. I do want to let you know that all of these rankings are of course based on my personal preference, what I like, what I look for, what I like the most, what I think of the things. So if a palette that you love is at the bottom of my ranking, that is fine. You keep loving that palette. We all have different preferences, but I like to do these videos to give you my thoughts, my reviews, let you know all of that, you know, everything I'm thinking as far as ranking goes. And I usually get comments when I rank things or when I show my collection asking about products that I didn't show, and 99% of the time it's because I didn't have that palette or that brand. So if it's not in the ranking, it probably means that I don't have it. But all the palettes I'm going to rank today are palettes that launched in 2021. I'm pretty sure. I tried to do my research. I tried to make sure I'm ranking things that I tried this year that launched this year. So we're going to jump into it. I am going to put the number on the screen just in case I get my counting off, because I probably will. So I will pop up the numbers on the screen. I will list and link the palettes I can down below. If I have any discount codes with those palettes, I will list those down below. I'll tell you if they're affiliated or not. Listen, the description box I will try to fill up as much as I can, but let's just start with number 67. Okay, I ranked the Essence Coral Me Maybe palette. This palette I bought at Ulta. I will say I'm pretty sure most of these palettes I do have videos on. So if you go to my YouTube page, you can search where there's a little search icon, the videos that I have done. So I did a video on this, and Essence launched this series of palettes. They were 6-pan palettes, and all of them were, I think, $3.99, but this one was $2.99. I think they've corrected their mistakes since then, but I thought this was a good palette. If you want to see the worst palettes I tried, I've already decluttered them. A couple of days ago, I posted my worst of beauty 2021. You can check that out. But I'm leaving those off of this, and I'm just starting here. For $3, yes, this is a good palette. But when I think about like ColourPop Lush Life, absolutely love that palette. ColourPop had that palette on their site for $5. So at the regular price of $3.99, for $1.01 more, you can get amazing quality shadows. I just think this one was good for the price, but if it were any more expensive than that, I don't think so. So it's not a bad palette, it's just not my favorite palette. I do think it performed well, and if you're just wanting to spend a couple of dollars on a palette, you're like, absolutely not, $5 for ColourPop palette is too much, I'm not gonna do it, then maybe you would like this one. It's just very soft, 3 mattes, 3 shimmers, very pretty. At number 66, I have the Makeup Revolution SOPH eyeshadow palette. This was a fun color story. I think I did 2 looks on my channel with this one, maybe 3, I can't remember. But we do have cool tone colors, we do have warm tone colors, we have a mix of neutrals, we have a mix of mattes and shimmers, mostly mattes though. We have a white and a black. This is a really cute color story, but it's not my absolute favorite quality. After that, I have the e.l.f. Electric Mood palette. This was sent to me from e.l.f. and I think this was really cute. I was pleasantly surprised by this palette. Actually, I didn't really know what to expect quality wise, and I thought the neon packaging was so cute. I liked the cover, and then there were some really surprise shades in this palette. This blue, I did have to dig in there to get the sparkle, but it did have some pretty sparkle. This shade down here is kind of a green gold brown duochrome type of shade. That I was pleasantly surprised with. I thought this was overall really nice, but just not the favorite. Okay, next up, so many of y'all judged me so hard for buying the NYX Tetris Palette. And the reason this is coming in lower, aside from the fact that it is gigantic for no reason, this palette literally dupes itself. Some of the shades in here are the same. Like, why? It's like they moved the shades apart from each other so that we wouldn't notice that it was repetitive. Like, this shade is the same as these shades, but it's down here, so I guess NYX thought we wouldn't notice. I wanted to know, is this the really good, amazing NYX quality? Because I have some palettes from NYX that I love. There was a NYX palette that was in my top 10 favorites of 2020. I ranked my palettes last year and NYX was in the top. This is good, not amazing. Not a bad palette. It's very nice, but it's not the best that NYX can do, and for that reason it came in lower for me. There are some beautiful shades in here. I think these sparkly shades are really nice, but I know you NYX, I know you can do better than this, so that's why it's coming in a bit lower. Next up, I have a BH palette, and let me just say, the quality in this palette is great. This is the 80s Dance Remix palette. The quality in here is amazing. It's ranking lower purely on personal preference. I don't reach for this palette a ton. It is mostly matte colorful shades. If you are interested in these shades, the quality is amazing. I love BH. You're going to see them a lot more in this video, but I'll be honest, I did some looks with this. I made sure I tested it enough to review it, and I haven't picked it up since. Even though the colors are beautiful, I just don't reach for it enough. And then right above that, I ranked this one. Again, the quality in here is amazing. Very, very good quality, but I'm not reaching for this very much. I do have a pastel palette from BH that I think is a bit better than this one. I do like this though because you have a nice range, a mix of mattes and shimmers, and you do get a row of neutrals up here. I will say when I'm doing a neutral look, because I love color and I love neutrals, I do go for neutrals that go deeper than this. But if this is an interesting color story to you, I think you will love this one. After that, I have this palette from BH, and I have to say, I just knew BH could do better. This is the BH Doja Cat Mega palette, and the reason it's ranking lower is because I would say about a third of this palette is amazing. It's like, yes, this is BH, this is what I know, love, and expect from BH. And then 2/3 of this palette is just good, not great from BH. So like the Tetris palette, I knew this one could do better. This shade right here, amazing, beautiful. I used it and I'm like, yes, BH, this is what you do. But then some of the mattes, like this purple shimmer, it was just very lackluster. I have such a high standard for BH because they're one of my favorite eyeshadow brands, and this one, it just didn't bring it. Okay, I have now the Pastel Dreams palette from Give Me Glow. The quality in here was not bad. I think this is very nice, but this is an expensive palette and I don't reach for it that much. It is very pretty. I mean, look, you have almost like neon pastels. It's so like light and bright. Again, you can check out my channel for videos with close-up views of the palettes, swatches, looks, all of that. Today is just going to be a ranking, and this palette, I just don't reach for it very much, and it's very expensive for me not to reach for it very much. The quality is nice, but again, you're going to see some pastels that rank a little bit higher for me at a better price point. Okay, next I have the Geology Cosmetics Pilbara palette. I did buy this palette from Geology. This is an, oh, here's the front. This is an Australian indie brand, and I liked this palette. I am interested to see what they will do in the future. This shade right here is amazing, Starry Sky. It is a shifty, beautiful, sparkly shade, whereas this shade right here, this kind of red-orange shimmery shade, I had to dig and dig and dig my brush in there and just didn't get a lot of payoff. So for the price of this palette, I'm ranking it a little bit lower, but I do think it's a good palette. It's just not everything. These shades, very beautiful. I had a great time with the mattes. I just kind of wanted something a little darker from this one, but I do think it's very nice, and the next time this brand releases a palette, I'm definitely going to check it out. I'm interested in trying more from them. Okay, next up I have What's Up Beauty Desert Monsoon palette. This palette was sent to me from What's Up Beauty, and it is very cute. You can see it's kind of like, it's small. It's on the smaller side. It's smaller than like, it's about the same size as my Pat McGrath blush palette. This is the blush and palette I have on today, by the way, but this one, it has a mix of mattes and shimmers. You have kind of some cool toned browns, some warm tones, and then a pinky shade. For me, I kind of wanted some different color mattes from this palette, but I do think the quality is really nice. If you look at this color story, it's your color story. I think this is really cute, really nice. This green shade, especially Sun, very, very pretty. It's like a gold to green shifty type of shadow. Super cute palette. Just not, all of these, I'm like, I just like other things a little bit more. Next up is a palette from Rebel Rouge Labs. This is an indie brand. I bought this palette. This is the Gods and Monsters palette. Very cool, very unique color story. It's almost like spring grunge is what it makes me think of. We have these bright colors like this lavender purpley shade, this bright peach, this bright kind of sky blue, and then we have this grungy green, we have this deep teal, we have this olive shimmer. So it's a very interesting color story that I find challenging in a good way. When I pick this up, I want to create, I want to try different things, I want to see what I can pair together. I think this is really nice. I have enjoyed Rebel Rouge Labs. I think they're super interesting. They create interesting color stories, and you're going to see another palette from them in a minute. Okay, these palettes from DD Signature I'm ranking together. These are the Fruit Skewer palettes, if I'm not mistaken, and there are some palettes that I decided just to rank together in one spot. And I have a video with 4 looks, like 1 look per palette. So DD Signature is a indie brand out of Texas, I believe. But we have the Caramel Skewer, which is super colorful with 2 kind of duochrome shades. We have the Exotic Skewer, which is more greens and pinky purples. Then we have the Tropical Skewer. This one had a very interesting color story with some shimmers and mattes. And then the Juicy Skewer. I think this was maybe my personal favorite out of the 4. A red and pink color story, which I think is so fun to work with. Next, I have this palette from Game Beauty. This is the Fantasy palette. And again, we have pastels. It kind of seems to be a theme that pastels are ranked a little lower here. We're seeing lots of pastel palettes, but this is beautiful. We have a blue to purple duochrome. We have some nice metallics, very light, bright shades. I really like Game Beauty, but I think their palettes got better and better with time. So this one comes in a little bit lower, but you're gonna see Game Beauty a little bit more coming up. After that, I have Rebel Rouge Labs Prelude to Agony. Yes, I enjoyed this. This they launched around Valentine's Day. Yes, this was, I think, their Valentine's Day launch. We have pinks and reds, which I like. I think that's very easy to create a pretty look with pinks and reds. We also have kind of this gray blue, like this very like dirty gray blue color that I think is really nice. Cool olive tone browns with this pop of neon yellow. Just a very fun color story. I think the quality is really nice. I'm into this cool packaging as well. I will link Rebel Rouge Labs down below. I'm pretty sure I buy them on Etsy. Next up, I have another palette from Game Beauty. This is the Adventure palette. This one and the pastel one were sent to me. This one I like the color story very much. I love these green tones. Green, hello, my favorite color. If you couldn't tell, I love me some green. This one does have a pressed glitter. I'm not super into that. I like that we have a brown here in case you wanted to pull some neutrals in, but overall this is a really pretty color story. But I do think the newer palettes from Game Beauty do have a more elevated formula. Next up, I have the Sigma Spicy Eyeshadow Palette. This one was also sent to me. I will try to let y'all know when something is sent to me and what I've purchased. Most of these palettes I've purchased myself, but this has 5 very beautiful neutral shades. This is a warm toned neutral palette. I really like the packaging. I like the clear cover. I do have a get ready with me video up using this. The shimmer shades are very pretty. I really enjoy the Sigma formula. You're gonna see some Sigma palette up to the top of my ranking. This just overall, when I think of neutrals, I don't automatically think of this palette, but the quality is really nice and I do really enjoy this one. Okay, I next have Puerto Rico. This is Party in Puerto Rico from BH Cosmetics. I like this. I thought this was a very nice palette. I did a video with a few looks on this. It's a very bright and vibrant. For like absolute favorites, I usually tend to go something that does go a bit deeper than this, but I do feel like there's a nice range in here. The quality is nice if you're looking for oranges, yellows, pinks. And right ahead of that, I have their AMOR and Almafi palette. This one is a very nice neutral palette. The quality in here is great. I really like that with these neutrals, we get some pinky tones. We get some kind of yellow, orangey almost tones over here. We do have some warm tones. I just think this one is really pretty. I like that it goes dark to light. If you're looking for a neutral palette, this from BH is really nice and it's not very expensive. I want to say this one is also available at Ulta. BH is always running sales, so if you're thinking about picking this one up, maybe look for a discount code or a coupon, something like that. I like that we have this pop of orange. Very nice. And right above that, I have Lost in Los Angeles. If you are looking for a pastel palette, this is the one I say to go with because there's variety in these pastels. You have the mattes you need, the light blue, the light pinky purple, the light purple, the light green, the light kind of peachy oranges. I feel like these are the pastels to go for, and then you have beautiful shimmers too. You also have a matte white, which I feel like is perfect for a pastel palette because you can use that white to take them even lighter, or even put the white on first and then blend to make the neon, to make the pastels pop even more. I think this is just very fun, and they do give you the option to go very light and neutral if you want to. You have this very light brown up here, and then you have these kind of neutrally shimmer shades. Okay, if I'm counting correctly, we are at 48, and I have the Too Faced Cinnamon Swirl palette. This is a really good palette. I would say going forward, these are all like really good palettes. This one was the first Too Faced palette I bought in a very long time, and I was pleasantly surprised. I don't like this purple shade right here. I feel like this shade right here is a trash shade, but everything else in the palette I think is really nice. Pigmented, blendable, packaging, 10 out of 10, so cute. Smells like cinnamon swirls. I've had this for a couple of months now, I think, and I can still smell it. I think the metallics are very intense and beautiful. I was surprised. I had not tried Too Faced in a long time, and I was very happy to see how well this one performed. Next, I have the Age of Opulence palette from Beauty Bay. This is a very pretty, dark, deep color story, and I like that very much. I really like the formulas of the Beauty Bay eyeshadows. I think they're so nice, and they're a great price point. You get a lot of bang for your buck. I like that we have a lot of neutrals in this palette, so you can stick to a neutral look. I like that we have a black shade. I like the very deep purple, the deep plum. I just feel like this is a pretty versatile palette. I really, really enjoy it. And right above that, I ranked their Valentine's Day palette. I'm not sure if this one's still available, but I hope it is. This is the new Romantic palette. I love this color story. I have enjoyed this so much. I think this is just a beautiful, beautiful palette. Again, we have the matte black. We also have a really light cream color. I like that we have bright pinks, and we also have more toned down kind of rosy mauve pinks. We have bright shimmers, we have neutral shimmers, we have light shimmers, we have purpley shimmers. Like there's variety in this kind of monochromatic color story that when you first look at it, you may not see how many options you have. I even like that we have this kind of silver with a lilac undertone to it. I really like this palette. I hope that Beauty Bay will bring it back, but sometimes the thing with the Beauty Bay brand is if you see something, you like it, you have to get it because they will discontinue things and move on. Next, I have the Odin's Eye Verdandi palette. I really like this. Odin's Eye managed to give us variety in 6 pans. You can go neutral or you can go red, which I think is fun. I love a half neutral, half colorful palette. So this color story I think is really interesting, and the quality in here is amazing. If you're looking for neutrals but elevated or with a twist, check this one out. Sleek, cute packaging, I'm into it. Next, I have the Melt Brunette palette. I think this is a really pretty neutral palette. Melt has really brought us some good formulas this year, in my opinion. They have made some really pretty palettes, and I love that I have this very neutral palette from the brand because I enjoy it. The mattes are blendable, they're pigmented, they're easy to work with. It's mostly mattes in this little palette, and then we have 3 shimmery shades. I like that we have a light shade and we have 2 mid-tone shades, but the mid-tones are different. This is obviously very warm coppery gold, whereas this is a little more grungy, cool-toned type of metallic. I like the packaging. I just thought it was really cute, and I'm super happy to have this one. Next, I ranked Game Beauty Victory palette. This one is a pretty color story. Half neutral, half colorful. I love the gaming inspired theme, and the quality is really nice. I like this deep teal shade. I like that we have this orange. I like the mix of mattes and metallics. I like that there's no pressed glitters. I think this was the second to last palette that Game Beauty had released, and I definitely felt like the formula was even better than their first 2 palettes. Next, I have Alien Cosmetics The Witching Hour palette. Alien Cosmetics is now Unearthly Cosmetics. They changed their name. They're doing a rebrand. So you may see Alien Cosmetics on the packaging, but I will try to list it both ways in the description box, and I will probably be referring to them as Unearthly Cosmetics going forward. But this was a fun Halloween color story to me. I definitely got fun witching hour vibes from this. The purples, the greens. I had a great experience with the matte formulas, especially. I like the orange. I really liked this. I thought in a 9-pan palette, they still gave variety and fun. I like the addition of this like raspberry red shade. I really enjoy this. I like that the pans are removable so you can pop them out, switch them with some other Unearthly palettes, or customize, rearrange the color story how you want it. We have a nice big mirror in here. I mean, you're going to see Unearthly a lot coming up in this ranking as we get to the top. After that, I have Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag Face Lift. This is a great palette. The only reason it's coming in a little bit lower is because of the color story. This is a half neutral, half colorful palette. I think it's very pretty. I don't reach for this one a ton, but every time I do, I'm like, I should grab that more because the quality is great. You have all the rainbow colors. You have the matte neutral shades you want, and there are 3 shimmery shades. I love shimmery shades. So most of my favorite palettes have a lot of pretty shimmer shades, but this is really nice. If you're looking for kind of a one of everything palette, this would be good to have because you're going to have your matte colors, you're going to have your matte neutrals, and you're going to have a few pretty shimmery shadows. After that, I have 4 palettes that I grouped as one, and that is the BH Cosmetics Say It collection. These are great. These are great palettes. I did not buy all of them. I think there were like maybe 6 that launched, but I'll show you kind of the ones that I have. So I have Optimistic, which is a very warm, half neutral, half colorful palette. Lots of warm neutrals with kind of a pop of yellow, a pop of orange, a pop of light orange, and then mostly neutrals. I'm telling y'all, don't sleep on these. The quality in these are amazing. Do Not Disturb, beautiful, beautiful. Berries and blues together. Such a smart color story, such a smart grouping of, I was going to say grouping of colors, but that's the same thing as color story, right? Right. Beautiful shimmers, mattes, and metallics. Really enjoy that. I would say my favorite of the 4 is Looking Like a Snack, but the quality in these is great. The 4 I have, the quality is consistently beautiful. That's why I decided to put them together, because you just pick the color story you like and you're going to get great quality. This is probably my personal favorite of the 4 though, just because this is very interesting. I like the pinks with the dark pinky to almost reds, with the peach, with this kind of cool tone, very light taupe, bright shimmer, and then kind of a black with a red purple glitter. I think that's super fun. And then we have Low Key Love You, which is a half red, half neutral, peachy orangey type of color. These 2 shimmers right here are next level, out of this world, amazing quality. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, BH can make amazing eyeshadows, and these are that amazing formula. Okay, next up I have the Glamlight Margarita palette. This one was sent to me. The cocktail collection from Glamlight was gifted to me. This quality, amazing. I'm telling you, the quality in these palettes, phenomenal. Phenomenal. The only reason this one is not ranking higher for me is because if there was a deeper shade, it would have been in the top, because these beautiful. I just think if they had added a almost black navy or almost black purple, this would have been a top favorite. But the shades in this palette, amazing quality. The shimmers, the sparkles, the mattes, blendable, pigmented, beautiful. I actually have a 7 looks video where I'm using the cocktail collection, showing you looks with the palettes on their own, mixed together. Listen, 7 looks with these palettes if you're curious of swatches and all of that. But this is an amazing, amazing high quality palette. Just for my personal preference, I wanted something deeper. Next, I have Melt Cosmetics Blueprint Palette. Again, I'm a big Melt fan. I thought the packaging of this was super cute. I ordered this the day it launched because I had always wanted the stack, and now that it's in palette form, I was like, I gotta have it. I love that this palette is 8 shades and only 2 of them are matte. I love it, and I love that the 2 matte shades are very deep dark mattes, deep dark navy, deep dark brown shade. I love that it's half neutral, half blue. These shades work so well together. Do all neutral with a pop of blue on the lower lash line, beautiful. Do all blue, mix in some neutrals, just do neutrals, just do blue, beautiful. The quality in here is so awesome too. I really love this shade. It's super special, sparkly, I'm into it. Next, I have Beauty Bay and Jade. This is a huge palette. This is 42 color palette, and I really like this one. I really like this one. I like that we have so many options. This is a huge palette though. Like, look at this. This thing is huge. I like that we have a black. I like that we have a very light yellowy cream shade. I like that we have neon shades. I like that we have very dark shades. I like that we have purples. I like that we have pinks. We have a duochrome white. We have silvers. We have blues. We have greens. We have neutrals. We have colors. I like this. I do want to say, if you are somebody who gets overwhelmed when you look at big palettes like this, and I mean, I think the easiest thing to do is to go on YouTube and look at how other people have created looks. I do have looks with this on my channel, but if you just want to create something, maybe challenge yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to create and I'm just going to use this row, or I'm just going to use this row, or this column, and I can only use these 6 shades in this column. It can help break the palette down for you to where it's not so overwhelming. Another fun thing to do is a palette bingo, where you just go on Google, search like random number generator, put in the number 42 and go with whatever it tells you. That's really fun. I do have some palette bingos up on my channel if you're curious about that. Or say, you know, I'm only going to work with these 6 shades, or I'm only going to stick with this quad. Just breaking it down can sometimes help. I really like Beauty Bay shadows, and I think they did a really good job. Sometimes when we see brands collab with celebrities, like the BH Doja Cat, the quality can go down. It's very unfortunate, but it's not uncommon, I would say, especially for celebrity collabs. But the quality in this palette is the great Beauty Bay palette quality that we know and love. It's just very, very large. Next, I have the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Surge palette. This is really fun. I had heard people rave about Blend Bunny and their first palette. So when the Surge palette launched, I was like, oh, I gotta get my hands on this. I have to try this out. And I've had a great time with it. This is a mostly mattes palette, and I love that it goes like very deep dark. You see this deep dark row here to neons. This bottom row is neons. I do have a video up, I think 2 looks using this palette, and I've had fun creating with it since then. We have kind of these grungy pastels, these midtones, dark shades, shimmers, and then neons. I think it's very fun. I know Blend Bunny has been teasing that they're working on their 3rd launch, and I'm very, very excited about that. I did have a good experience with this palette. I really enjoy it. I like the variety. So I definitely plan to purchase what they launch next. Next, I have the Harbinger palette from Game Beauty. I did buy this palette when it launched. This was my first experience with Game Beauty, and I really enjoyed this. I thought the color story was very fun and different. I liked that I had red, purple, blue, black, gray, with some kind of duochrome type shadows. It's just a very interesting color story to me. I've enjoyed it. I have 2 looks, I think, on my channel. This black is an amazing black. I know you may think, well, it's just a black, Heather, but it is pigmented and blendable. It's such a good black. I've really enjoyed working with this palette. I've reached for it several times since I got done reviewing it, just playing with it more, pairing it with other palettes in my collection, and I think Game Beauty just continues to get better and better and better. Next, I have Alien Cosmetics Capricorn palette. This is a awesome matte rainbow palette. There are a couple, just two, right? Yeah. This shade and this shade are mattes with a little bit of sparkle to them, but they blend so beautifully. If you are looking for matte colors, this is a great palette. This is the one I would recommend. If you're like, I need some rainbow shades, listen, red, kind of orange, but leaning neutral, yellow, green, indigo, blue, violet. You've got it all. I like these cool tones. I like the brights. It's just a very fun take on the rainbow, I think. I love the lime green, the kind of mid-tone green. I love the almost neon red. I really love Unearthly. These mattes, amazing quality. Next up was my first time trying Lethal Cosmetics, and that is Teresa is Dead. Collabed with them for the Lethal is Dead palette. I love Teresa's channel. I watch all of her videos. I think she's so fun and cool, and I love, love, love watching her. So when she announced that she was collabing with Lethal, I knew I had to buy it. I was like, whatever it is, I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna buy it. And this is very her. I think this is so cool. This is a mostly matte palette. I like the colors. I really like the colors she chose. This is kind of like a dirty denim type of blues over here that I think is really fun. I love the theming of it, that it's like old horror movies. You have shade names like The Final Girl, Spellbound, Watery Grave, Predator, Vengeful Spirit. Like, just very fun. I had a good time with these shimmers. I love this kind of yellowy green shimmer up here. I do have looks here on my channel. This shade, beautiful. I just think this is really cool. I was super excited to try out Lethal Cosmetics and to support Teresa. They did such a good job. Next, I have Unearthly Cosmetics Strawberry Milkshake. This one, so good. Y'all, ranking palettes is so hard. Like, I feel like I ranked these about a month ago, and then I moved them around, and I moved them around, and I moved them around, and who knows, this time next month they may rank even differently because preferences change, thoughts change, what I'm reaching for. And I love this 9-pan palette. Again, I've said it a couple of times, but I love the reds and the pinks. I love the mix of greens. I love the matte cream shade. This is really, really beautiful. I love that I have such great mattes in these really deep colors from Unearthly. I like even pulling this palette in with other palettes and mixing and matching, but I feel very inspired when I look at this. And I think if you're looking at this like, what am I supposed to do with this color story? Just take it 3 shades, take this row and create something with just these. This, like stick to the rows, stick to the columns, mix it and match it, go on Instagram, look for some inspiration. I had fun. I did a look with this where I tried to replicate like the vibe of a strawberry laying across my eye where it went from red to green, and I had a lot of fun with this. This shade right here in particular is just a stunning standout matte shade. Next, I have Beauty Bay Wilderness Palette. This is a good one, and you know what? Beauty Bay did that thing where they launched it, people loved it, and they discontinued it, but thankfully they brought this back. I don't know if it's still available. I will try to link it down below, but I know they brought it back so everybody who wanted it could get their hands on it. This is a fun color story, and I'm into it. Wilderness is the perfect name because we have these kind of sky colors, then we have the kind of forest floor colors, and we have like colors of sunsets, sunrises down here. I'm into this color story. I love that we have deep blue matte, deep green matte, deep brown, deep red, and then we have light blue, kind of this weird mossy green color, like just very interesting color story. This is mostly matte shades, and I've had a great time working with this palette. I know a lot of y'all were able to pick up this palette, and I hope you're enjoying it as much as I do. After that, I have the Glamlight Wine palette. I enjoy this palette so much. This is a beautiful purple palette, monochromatic but beautiful. I love that we have cool tone purples, this almost blue purple blurple type of shade, this kind of more like very light, almost pinky leaning shade, this deep like burgundy shade, a deep purple. I like that this goes light to dark. I like that we have a good mix of shimmers and metallics. I like that they included this kind of like almost like black based gold in here, so that if you wanted to put a neutrally type shimmer on the inner part of the lid to make a less dramatic look, you can definitely do that. But I've had a great time playing with this palette. I think it's so beautiful. Next, I have the holiday release from Pat McGrath Labs. This is the Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey palette. She first gave us this format last year where she released this kind of mega palette. So I'm so glad she did one for this year, and I love the shade selection. We have only 4 mattes in all these beautiful shimmery shades. This shade right here is so beautiful, but I really like this kind of icy lilac lavendery shade. I like that we have a mix of neutrals and colors. I have this beautiful Pat McGrath packaging. Really enjoy this one. Next, I have Mary Jane from Melt. Oh, I love this. I love the over-the-top packaging. I like how it's raised with the Mary Jane. I like that when we open it, we get a variety of really good cool toned neutrals. I like the grungy vibe. I like the shimmers. I like the metallics and mattes. I think this is awesome. When I first got this palette, a few of these shades did not swatch the best, and it made me kind of nervous. But then when I put them on the eyes, I was like, yes, 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 yes. I love you, Melt. I think this is so beautiful. Definitely one of my top neutral palettes because I love the cool tones and I love the mix of textures and finishes and undertones that this palette has. Next up, I have KALEIDOS, the Flower Punk palette. Oh, this is such a good one. First of all, let's just talk about the packaging, how cool it is, how fun it is, and then the color story inside is so cool. Grungy and bright and pastel at the same time. How? I don't know. So we have a mirror on this lid. I love it. We have kind of this pastel blue and then this deep grungy olive green. These beautiful shimmer shades. This is mostly mattes, but I love mixing these colors together. I love using them for a monochromatic look. KALEIDOS is amazing quality shadows. Love this palette so much. Okay, y'all, the higher we go, the harder this gets for me. I think we are at number 26, and I have Nomad Cosmetics Haunted Europe palette. First of all, the packaging, insanely cool. This was such a fun Halloween time release for me. I love this palette. I have enjoyed working with this so much. The greens, the oranges, the neutrals, the cool neutrals, the navies. This is so fun, and every pan has an imprint design on it, like bats, spiderweb, cemetery, the Nomad logo, coffins, like very cool. I have looks on this on YouTube as well as Instagram. I will say I do post quick little tutorials on Instagram, so if you're looking for more tutorials, that's also a good place to look. But this was an amazing color story. My first time trying Nomad was this year, 2021, and I have really enjoyed the brand so much. You're going to see them even higher up in the ranking as we go on, but this color story was great. I just really enjoyed this, and I thought they nailed the whole concept of Haunted Europe. Next, I have the ZENDO palette from Natasha Denona. I love Natasha Denona. I love her quality, and I thought this was an awesome palette. I love this mint shade. It's her cream to powder formula. I thought it was amazing. There are several of her cream to powder formula in this palette. This shade right here, this shade down here. I love that we have this kind of coral neutral-esque color story over here, and then we have these mint teals over here. This very like blue-green brown down here. It's like a brown with a blue-green undertone. We have her beautiful shimmer formula. I love the ZENDO palette. I love the packaging. I really love everything about it. Next, I have a green monochromatic palette, the Dirty Martini palette from Glamlight. This is an awesome palette. They did so good with the monochromatic green color story. I love that it has this deep, dark teal green blue down here. I love that we have a brown with a green undertone. I like that we have a lime green. I really like the selection. This is like a half matte, half shimmery palette. I like that we have these kind of duochrome special shades in here. I just think Glamlite really killed it with this one. I think the color story is so beautiful, and I've had a fun time playing with this. I have another palette from Glamlite, and that is the Michaela palette. I have a 3 looks video up on my channel with this palette, and I had so much fun. Michaela seems like such a nice person. I think she creates such cool content. So I was excited to see her get a collab like this, and I think this is just an overall very fun palette. I like that we have a row of warm tone neutrals, and then we get into the colors. We have these purpley shades, a lot of purples with all these teals and pinks. We have some kind of orangey tones. Very fun. Lots of mattes and also a lot of shimmer shades. I think the quality in here was awesome. I really like this shade down here in the corner, and also the packaging is fun. Glamlite tends to make really fun packaging, and I just I like the quality of this palette. I like the packaging. I think it's an awesome collaboration. Overall, really awesome palette. I'm so curious to know if y'all are guessing my top favorite palettes. And next I have Unearthly Cosmetics Not Normal. I love this one. First of all, I love the packaging. I think it's so cool. And then we have... Is this neutral? Is this colorful? It's probably colorful to the person who never wears neutrals. I mean, it's probably colorful to the person who only wears neutrals. We have these fun neutral shades, and then we have this green shade is very interesting and unique in my collection. This is mostly mattes with 4 shimmers. The tones of these are so cool. I like that we have this pop of true green and this kind of deeper but still true purple, and then like I said, we have these neutrals. We have these kind of earthy swampy tones. The formula is amazing. This was my favorite Unearthly palette for a while, but I have some more coming up. Next I have You Beauty from Glaminatrix. Glaminatrix is an Australian brand, and this is the first palette I ever tried from them. This is an awesome color story. I'm pretty sure they said this is just inspired by Australia in general. And this multi-chrome down here is so cool. Good Day. One of the prettiest shadows I have in my collection. We have beautiful shimmery sparkly shades. I like that this palette is so versatile. I feel like I can go neutral. I feel like I can go green blue, I can go kind of red, I can go yellow. Really great quality. I'm pretty sure we have mostly shimmers, or like I said, even a multi-chrome, but this quad right here, you can break it down like that. You can break it down into this quad. You can stick with this row. Whatever you want to do, you're going to create a beautiful color story and a beautiful look. The curation of this is just beautiful. I really like the packaging, and I definitely want to try more from Glaminatrix. Next is the newest palette to my collection at the time that I'm filming this, and this is In the Dark from Alien Cosmetics. I filmed a look here on YouTube. I also did one from Instagram, and I've played with it some more since then. This is 8 pan palette. 6 of those are mattes, and 2 of these are very sparkly blue, kind of shifty shades. Like this is a white to bluey purple, and this is like a blue purple, little deeper. Very grungy, very deep dark. This is like a matte, almost black blue purple shade, more like blue. I love it. I loved mixing the green and the gray together. Amazing quality. I also love this kind of very gothic inspired packaging. Unearthly is just they're at the top of one of my favorite brands right now. Like, they're at the top of the list. When I think of my favorite brands, when I think of all the brands, I'm like, Unearthly is right in there in my top 10 favorite brands for sure. Next, I have this palette from Pat McGrath. So expensive, but so good. This is the Mothership Utopian Dream. Oh, I really enjoy this palette. I really enjoy this color story. You only have 3 mattes and that's all I need. I'm all about these sparkly shades. These 2 shades down here are insanely sparkly. I love them. I love that we have this beautiful shimmer shade, just pretty shimmers, pretty mattes, blendable. I like this very like corally shade right here, but these 2 shades right here, I would buy the palette. I would buy the palette again if it disappeared from my collection because I think the quality is amazing and I'm super excited to see what's to come in 2022 from Pat McGrath. Okay, next up is the newest BPERFECT Stacey Marie collab. This was round 4 for BPERFECT and Stacey Marie, and this is Carnival 4, the Antidote palette. This is the Antidote, so it is not the rainbow theme that they have been pretty famous for. I feel like they are giving us so many neutrals, rosy tones, cool tones, these grungy, swampy greens, the fiery oranges, the muted yellows. I love this palette so much. I love the BPERFECT quality. Their formula is amazing. I love the mattes. I love the tones. I love the shimmers. Everything about this palette, I love it. It's so pretty. I love these like autumn toned oranges. I love these frog, swamp, alligator greens. Like, oh, I love it so much. I love these warm and cool toned neutrals. I love that we have a purple down here. It's just, this is a huge palette, but I need every shade in here and I love it. Next, I have a Sigma palette. They killed it with Cinderella. I bought this collection when it launched. I bought everything. I bought this, the bag, the brushes, the lips, the blush highlight. Like, I had to have it. They did such an interesting take on Cinderella. For me, this is like Cinderella glam. Instead of just doing like pastels that we see so much with Cinderella, we see like pastel blue and white and that's it, you know. They went with like evening Cinderella, elevated luxury glam. We do have the beautiful light blue, but we also have the navy. We have deep purples. So many of these pans have beautiful imprints. I don't know if you're going to be able to see the imprints, maybe faintly, because I've used this so much. I love this black. I like the Sigma quality. The Sigma eyeshadow formula I really enjoy. They killed it with this palette. I know so many people are like, oh, I'm tired of Disney collabs. But listen, Sigma, if you want to keep doing Disney collabs, go for it because I enjoy it. I like that we have neutrals and I like that we have colors. It's kind of a half neutral, half colorful palette. And this is one of my favorite palettes. It's so good. Sigma just... Y'all, Sigma, don't sleep on Sigma eyeshadows. This is such an amazing palette. I love it so much. I really loved the whole collection, just the whole vibe of it. I wanted it, and then to actually get it and see that it was an amazing quality made me so happy. I now have Vampirism from Jolie Beauty. I enjoy this brand so much. I only have 2 palettes from them. Okay, I have the Sorceress, which I love, and now they teased earlier this year that they're like, Sorceress is getting a sister. So I was like, okay, at Halloween time they're gonna release something that I'm gonna want. So I was like preparing, and then they were like, Vampirism, here it is, and I was like, add to cart, check out now. This color story, first of all, let's just talk about the fact that we have multi-chromes in this palette. In the video I did, I really tried to show off the multi-chromes. These 2, but especially this one, so shifty. There are 2 pressed glitters in here, and normally I'm not a huge fan of pressed glitters, but in the looks I did with this palette on my channel, I used the glitters because I will say I do enjoy the Jolie Beauty pressed glitters. I don't think they're bad. We have cool tones, we have reds, we have yellows, we have purples, we have muted oranges. Like, orange can't be a cool tone, but these are like grungy oranges, right? I'm into it. This is an amazing quality palette. I've had a great experience. People have asked me how it is ordering from their site from the UK. I've had a great experience buying from the brand. Love this palette. Definitely am watching them to see what are they going to do next. What are they going to do next? The next three palettes I kind of grouped together too, and that is the Odin's Eye Saga of Freya collection. These are beautiful. Odin's Eye is just one of my favorite brands, and let's just talk about these palettes, okay? The Saga of Freya, Tears of Freya, beautiful, okay? Beautiful, beautiful color story, intense shimmers, multi-chromes, beautiful peachy, warm brown shades. I love this palette. I've had so much fun with these. Next we have Cat with the Golden Carriage. This one is teals and oranges and neutrals and shifty shades and sparkles and metallic, and I love it. First of all, let's talk about the book packaging. Gorgeous, so dainty and fun and soft and ethereal. I'm into it. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then we have Saga of Freya, which is like, opens like a book, okay? So we have it looking like a book. You open it and you have these beautiful romantic type of tones. I don't know if you can see how much I've dipped into these shades because I reach for this palette a ton. I love this blue silver down here paired with these kind of pinky reds. And then you open up to the next one and you have orange and green and like this deep, 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 deep brown shade. Beautiful metallics, this kind of duochromy shifty shade. Just very, very beautiful. I really love this neutral bronze shade. I use this one a ton actually. So I like that these palettes you can go very soft or you can go very deep, dark, intense, bold. Just love, 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 love. Okay, I think we're at number 14 and I grouped these three palettes from Odin's Eye together. This is the Legendary Diversa collection. Oh my gosh, Odin's Eye was genius when they decided to collab with three different influencers. They collabed with Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner for the Giant Wolves palette. Beautiful, deep, dark tones. All of three of these palettes have a multi-chrome mix of mattes, metallics, and shimmers. Beautiful. I love this one from Annette. I love the artwork. It's a very me color story, very dark but still colorful. They also collabed with Judy for the Red Dragon palette. Again, stunning artwork. This is a mix of neutrals and colors. We have this pop of red, green, this kind of green metallic-y shade. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful palette. The formula, amazing, blends beautifully. I love these warm neutral tones. I think this is absolutely stunning. And then we have Tina, the Fancy Face for the Hummingbird palette. Of course, the artwork is beautiful. She looks amazing. And then we open it up inside and we have mostly shimmery, shiny, metallic shades in here with this beautiful multi-chrome at the bottom. The mattes that Tina chose to go with these colors, beautiful. The red, the navy, the light blue, these two shades up here, just absolutely stunning. I love this lime green. I think, like I said, it was just genius for Odin's Eye to choose to collab with these three ladies, and they did an amazing job. The quality of these palettes are so good, and I know these are limited edition palettes, but I'm glad that Odin's Eye kept them around long enough that everybody who wanted them could get their hands on them. They were around for quite a while. If they're still available, I'll link them for you, but I'm so happy to have these because they're beautiful. Next is my favorite palette from Milk Cosmetics. In my opinion, this is the best palette they have ever done. This is the AMOR y MARIPOSAS palette. First of all, I love the artwork. I think it's so cool and different, unique. Then inside, first of all, this is a heavy weighted palette. I know I said the packaging is nice, but this feels luxurious. The tones they chose are beautiful. This kind of yellow shade here, the row that we have of greens with like these mossy shades and then these beautiful metallics. I love that we have this row of mostly matte shades that go from very deep to like this bright red. I love that we have this row where we have a bright orange. I feel very inspired by this palette. I want to create with this. I want to use this. I've already used it a lot. There are beautiful butterfly imprints on the pan that are imprinted in there really well. So if you use them 5, 6, 7 times, you're still going to be able to see the butterfly, which I think is really nice. It's not going to go away quickly is what I mean. The quality in here is so good. I really liked this entire collection, but of course the palette was the standout. I love the hummingbirds on here. It's just everything about this palette is really nice. And again, this is my favorite palette of all time from Melt, I think. Next I have Natasha Denona CIRCO LOCO. Oh my gosh, I love this. This is a limited edition palette, but I'm pretty sure it's still available at Beautylish. I will link it for y'all. When I saw the teaser for this packaging, I was like, color, 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 more color from Natasha Denona. I was just so happy. And then I saw the inside and I was like, chaotic energy, give it to me now. I love the chaotic nature of this palette. But listen, it has dots on the back to where you can pop out and rearrange the pans if you want to. I feel inspired by the way it's laid out now. I love the blues and the teals and the purples and the pinks and the oranges, the raspberry type of purpley shade, the golds, everything I love. I love this silvery purple. I love this silvery blue. I love that we have mattes. I love that we have her cream to powder formula, her matte formula, her shimmery formula. Everything about this palette I love. I cannot say enough. I love this palette. I love the luxurious packaging. You set it up, you've got your mirror. It's good to go. It's right there. You can use it so easily. So beautiful. I hope this palette did well for her so that she will continue to give us full of color palettes. Next, I had to rank this little mini palette. This is a 6 pan from Odin's Eye, and this is the Erd palette. This, it's so me. It's so me. It's so me. It's greens with a neutral that's grunge and deep and dark. Every time I use this palette, I feel beautiful. I love the sparkles. This shade right here should win an award. This is Sparkle Dark Green, and I love it. I love these 2 shimmers. I love the 3 mattes. I love in the 6 pan we get 3 mattes. We get 3 special shades. Beautiful, phenomenal. Love the sleek, tiny packaging. This is a must-have. Love, 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 love. We're in the top 10, we're in the top 10, we're in the top 10. Natasha Denona Retro Palette. This palette I have recommended to so many people in my personal life because neutrals and color go together. If you love neutrals, you love this palette. You love color, you love this palette. Quality, amazing, phenomenal. I love that we have, like I said, these more neutral shades. I love that we have these deep dark berry shades. I love that the deepest shade is that cream to powder formula. I love the metallics. I want to play with this palette all the time. I want to wear it. I want to use it. I love this deep dark brown. These shades are blendable, buildable, pigmented. Layer them, mix them, mix and match them. I've been filming for a long time, y'all. I'm going to be getting really tongue-tied. Beautiful, beautiful color story. When I think of a sophisticated, glam, but fun palette, this is the one I'm thinking of. Lunar Beauty Moonspell Volume 2. I loved Volume 1. I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and Manny MUA Lunar Beauty gave us Volume 2. I love this palette. What can I say? Packaging aside, because I'm obsessed with the packaging, it's a favorite. I love it. This color story appeals to me. It calls to me. Quality, amazing. I love this black with sparkle. I love that we have deep burgundy, deep purples, deep browns. I love that we have bright purples. If I want to do a bright look, listen, this red, so good, so good. I love these shimmery shades, so impactful, so sparkly, so intense, so everything. We have deep shades, we have mid-tone shades, we have light shades, we have great quality, we have the fun Lunar Beauty packaging, we have the fun Lunar Beauty color story. Come on, listen, 2022, give us Volume 3. Next up, I have Lois Cosmetics Meet Me in the Underworld palette. This was my first time ever trying the brand. First of all, I love mythology. This is inspired by Greek mythology. I absolutely love this palette. When I saw the artwork, I was like, give it to me now. Eurydice looking beautiful on this packaging. I love it. But the inside is even better, y'all. The inside is even better. First of all, this mirror, it's got all these beautiful like roses around it. Stunning, but look. I love matte black, matte greens, matte pinks and browns and rosy tones. What? What is this color story that's so genius and beautiful? And I love it. Beautiful metallic shades. Love this yellow gold. Love these greens. Love this more bronzy copper shade. Love the pinks. Love, 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 love. It is mostly matte, but you have a good mix of mattes and metallics. I love this indie brand. I cannot wait to see what they do. I had a great experience ordering this palette from them, buying it, shipping it to me. Everything was such a great experience, and the quality, the mattes are pigmented and buildable and blendable, and I love it. Next, I have BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris. She's a good one. Oh, she's a good one. She's beautiful. She is light and she is dark. She is neutral and she is colorful. Matte blue, metallic blue, silver, green, purples, red berries. This shade, beautiful, beautiful. Mix, do a monochromatic look, do a colorful look, do a neutral look, do a light look, do a dark look. This palette has got you covered, and it's at an amazing price point for amazing quality shadows. I'm not saying, oh, this is a great BH Cosmetics palette. I'm saying this is an amazing eyeshadow palette. Amazing, beautiful, beautiful formulas, beautiful color story. Next is Nomad Cosmetics Iceland palette. Oh my gosh, first of all, the packaging, beautiful. This was the first palette I ever tried from Nomad, and I'm like, yeah, I'm hooked. Give me whatever you got. I'm into it. I bought this palette when it launched. I was so hyped, and I'm still so hyped when I look at this color story. This launched in January, I think, and I'm still just as excited about this palette and this color story as I was then. The formula, amazing. Again, imprints on all of the pans that are deep in there. They're not going to go away after you use them 10 times. They're going to stay for a long time. I love that we have these blues. I love that we have these fire shades. I love that we have these earthy shades with this pop of purple. I love it. Genius. I feel so inspired to create this shade, very unique in my collection. That blue gray type of shade that I want to play with, I want to create with, I want to reach for this palette, I want to use it. Everything about this I love. I love the fire and ice packaging, I love the theme, I love the formulas, everything about this Nomad palette. Amazing. I cannot wait to see what 2022 brings. I feel like I'm going to keep saying that. Next up, I have this palette. We're in the top 5. We're in the top 5. We are in the top 5. This is the Unearthly Cosmetics Allure palette. Not only do I love the artwork, just like I was talking about with Lois Cosmetics, I love mythology, I love myths, I love legends, I love stories. So the Medusa appealed to me. But inside, look at this color story. This is perfect. This is perfect. We have 4 matte shades, beautiful, and we have 5 duochrome metallic shades. Intense, beautifully sparkly, go colorful, go neutral, go deep, go dark, go light. You can do it with this palette. Any of these metallic-y shades can be a one and done type of shadow for you. Beautiful, fabulous, amazing quality. I think Unearthly has reformulated this palette. I will see if I can find it on the website. But I love this. I love it. It's beautiful. It's so good. It's my favorite. It's my favorite Unearthly palette. They keep getting like, God, they're just so interesting. So like great concepts. So fun. But this one, I think this was my first time to ever try the brand. And I I fell in love with this one. Number 4 is an all neutral palette. Are y'all shocked? The Chocolate Martini palette from Glamlight. This is my neutrals. This is my neutrals. We have pinky tones, we have warm tones, we have deep tones. I love the mix of mattes and metallic shimmers. This shade, very sparkly and a fun addition. It's like a cool toned blue neutral. Very interesting. Blue purple neutral. I don't know. These golds may look a little similar in the pan, but they are different and they are beautiful. I love that we have this orange like copper penny metallic to mix in here. I love that we have these deep metallics. I love that we have this white to gold duochrome up here. So sparkly. If I'm wanting neutrals, I'm reaching for this palette. It is elevated neutrals. It is textured, interesting shades. I don't want flat neutrals. I don't want boring neutrals. I want neutrals that are interesting and fun and different, and that is what this palette is. It's just 10 out of 10. Number 3 goes to Odin's Eye Norns palette. I love this palette. Every time I play with it, I feel inspired. I created a neutral look with this brown right here and this silver on the lid that I was in love with that look. These shades down here, listen, just these shades make the palette worth it for me. These 4 down here are beautiful. I love that we have like mostly sparkly shades in this palette. It's mostly sparkles, but if you want something simple, put this mauve in the crease, put this deep purpley mauve on the lid, throw on some mascara, go out the door, you are good to go. You are getting black with a sparkle, but I deepened up my outer corner when I used it with this. It was perfect. It was beautiful. I love this gold. I love this green. I love everything. I love this duochrome, like white to pink, but very intense. I love it. I love the artwork on this palette. Listen, I really loved the full Norns collection. I love Odin's Eye. They're definitely a brand that I have seen get better and better and better and better. And I just love, I'm going to keep saying it with every brand. I can't wait to see what 2022 brings. But this is beautiful. The quality in here, every shade, like, can you see how messy this palette is? Every shade is amazing. There's no duds in this palette. It's outright beautiful and amazing. Number 2 could also be number 1. It's the palette that I'm wearing today. It's from my favorite brand, Adept Cosmetics. This is the Amunet New palette. First of all, I love this packaging. It's sleek and beautiful and luxurious. I love the red. And then opening it up, we have a beautiful mirror with these Egyptian, I don't know if these are supposed to be gods. I honestly don't know. But then we have this kind of mythology theme inside. The colors are beautiful. This is what I'm wearing today. I want to use this palette all the time. I have to make myself use it. I have to say, no, you've used this enough, especially this shade. This shade right here is a multi-chrome. It's what I have all over my lid. It looks silver, it looks green, it looks purple in some lights. This shade right here, Ra, beautiful. Then this shade, this is the shade that's on my inner corner. That's looking like bright green, bright blue, white, depending on how I move it. I love the mattes. These mattes are a new formula for Adept Cosmetics, and they are buttery, creamy, blendable, pigmented perfection. Perfection. I love this palette. I love this sparkly green shade. I love this purpley, very shifty shades. Bassett is also a very like multi-chrome type of shade. This is the Amunet New Dark. There's also a light version where instead of getting this blue, you could get a neutral shade, which I think was cool. But today I'm wearing this shade, this shade, this shade, this shade, this shade, this shade. I've got that purple on my lower lash line. I love this palette. Adept is getting better and better and better and better too. I love them so much. I love that palette. I did purchase this palette. I will link it down below. I'm not sure when they're having a restock, but Adept is really good about restocking, having pre-orders, things like that. That palette, I love. I love it. Who Guessed the Number One palette is a collaboration that my friend Angelica Nyqvist did in collaboration with KALEIDOS. They created Club Nebula. I love this box format. I love this packaging. I will openly tell y'all this is my friend's palette and I love it. Even if she was not my friend, this would be my number one palette. Let me tell you the truth. If we were not friends, if I had never spoken to her, this would be my favorite palette. I'm very happy that KALEIDOS launched this, and even though it's sold out, I think they brought it back like 4 times. I think it restocked about 4 times, and they kept it in stock several days at a time, and then they would restock. So I think everybody who wanted this palette were able to get their hands on it. So I'm super happy that they did not just sell out, but they kept bringing it back. Angie did a beautiful job on this palette. It's probably no surprise to y'all that this is my number one favorite from the year because it goes very dark to very light. I have a neutral. I have a neutral in there. So if I want to go for a neutral look, I can do this. I can do this all over, but the colors, I love the deep red, I love the deep purple, I love the deep blue, I love the deep green, I love the shimmer shades. This bottom row right here, don't even talk to me about it because it's perfect. Don't even try to talk about it because it's perfect. These shades work so well together. The shimmers, beautiful. The shifts, beautiful. The sparkles, beautiful. The mattes, blendable, buttery, soft, smooth, pigmented. Listen, layer them on top of each other 100 times. They're going to look amazing. Just use one shade. It's going to look amazing. She killed it. I love the KALEIDOS formula. I talked to y'all earlier about the Flower Punk palette, how much I loved that. This color story is so perfect to me in a formula that I know and love. Y'all, can you believe it? Did you guess? Did you guess? Did you guess? Did anything surprise you? What was your number one favorite palette? Listen, even if you were on a no-buy for the year 2021, did you shop your stash? What was your number one favorite palette? I don't care if it's a palette that's like 10 years old. What is your number one favorite palette? Or if you tried a bunch of palettes this year, what was your favorite? Let me know. What was your least favorite? I want to hear it all. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you have not subscribed. It will mean the world to me. Give this video a thumbs up. But thank you times a million for watching, for being here at my channel. Giving me your review helps so much. Just clicking on my video means the world to me. Thank you for being here. I cannot wait to rank my palettes next year. We're a year away and I'm like, I want to rank some more things. I will be having a ranking come January. I do rank my palettes that I try every month, and I do reviews and roundups. So do make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out, and I will see you tomorrow in another video. Bye!